Well, good evening, everybody, and indeed a very warm welcome to this tutorial webinar. Thank you for taking the time out on this Tuesday evening to join us here. It's my absolute pleasure to host this, and it's in response to questions that I'm asked on a very regular basis. A lot of people are saying to me, Ben, how do we raise capital, money, finance, investment for our property journey? So I'm going to take you through this. So in today's webinar, we're going to have a look at a few different things. I'm going to talk very briefly about myself and why I'm here and why I'm presenting to you. We're going to look at what is private finance. We're going to have a deep dive into the elevator pitch, followed by the presentation and then onboarding our investors. I'll also give you a brief overview of the legal requirements in this and my view on JV business partnerships or loans. And last but not least, there is a free gift, which is a document suite. So that's really exciting. So again, everybody, thank you very much for joining me. My name is Ben Hollingsworth. I've pretty much been in property all of my working life. Now, when I look back on it, it stems from even deeper than that, because my father's a chartered surveyor and ran commercial estate agents in the 1980s, and then latterly in the 1990s, residential estate agents. So you could say I was pretty much born into this. And I, as a youngster, didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't really exciting enough for me. So what I had to do was I had to look outside the box. And when I was 17, I decided that my career path would take a very different trajectory. And I went off and did a few Joe jobs before realizing that my heart really did lie within property. So in my early 20s, I went to London, and where, of course, the streets are paved with gold. And I became an estate agent, and I worked for a company called Barnard Marcus, part of Sequence Home. And I covered Ealing, Acton, and Chiswick, and I absolutely loved it. A young man, early 20s, working in a estate agency in West London, there could be nothing more exciting. And that really did pave the way for what I look back on as a really enjoyable life that I've given myself. So I'm really, really happy with that. Since then, I've obviously come back to Wales, and I've enjoyed a lot of success in property. I mean, I have worked in a estate agency, I've worked in property auctions, I've worked in property finance, I've started what was today known as a sourcing business, even before they were known as sourcing businesses. I'm probably the oldest and longest established sourcing business in South Wales as a result of the contacts that I made in London. My investors were really keen and eager to focus on the hotspot, which is South Wales property. So that's created a fantastic business model for us. And then latterly, over the past 8 years, I've really enjoyed myself teaching, coaching, and mentoring people on their own individual property journeys. And I've so far, I think it's 55 plus now, I've lost count. Luke will probably know the exact number of people that we've taken on board, and I've personally one-to-one mentored, coached, and trained. I've also, along my journey, raised millions in private finance for my own property investments and developments. In 2018, for example, I raised over £1.5 million, which enabled me to do 13 individual property flips in that 12-month period, which was really, really great. Do you know what, though? A lot of people ask me, how do you do that? Well, I said, well, first and foremost, we have £1.5 million, which really does help. And secondly, I had my systems in place. My first flip was a bit of a nightmare, if I'm perfectly honest with you. It's profitable, but it took up so much of my time. One property flip, and I was driving around in circles all day. I was going out to collect door locks, skirting boards, hinges, latches, bags of plaster. It really wasn't systemized. It was kind of like, I like to call it controlled chaos, but it wasn't even that. It was chaos. And by 2018, I'd refined the system, and the system worked so well that it was easier for me to do 13 individual property flips in 12 months than it was to do one singular flip in 6 months, which I had previously done. So that's a testament to learning from your mistakes, learning from your errors. And sometimes in property, mistakes can be incredibly costly. So what my aim is now is to help people on their property journey and avoid those costly mistakes. Okay, so we know what works and we know what doesn't work, and the system works incredibly well. From our 55 plus people, they've all gone on to forge really successful careers in properties, and obviously build their own portfolios and businesses within the property industry, which is so encouraging. I mean, just a couple of months ago, I was sharing some fellowship with a great mentee that I took on a couple of years ago, and his aim was to get out of his day job and create a property portfolio to do so. And at the time that we went for lunch, he was on property number 5, which, considering somebody that had only came to the United Kingdom in I think it was 2007, he came to the United Kingdom, never worked in property, never done property before, joined me, and really has gone on to achieve incredible things. And part of his goal and his dreams, his ambitions, are now being satisfied. So ultimately, what I want to talk to you about this evening is raising private finance, because it doesn't matter how much money you've got, whether you've got nothing, whether you've got a little bit, a lot. Even if you've got a lot, you're going to run out very, very quickly, because property is not cheap. We all know that. It doesn't matter where you buy it. And we focus on very core areas that we've tried, we've tested, and we've trusted in the South Wales region. So we know exactly what these properties will cost us, what the cost of refurbs are, and what the end result will be. But you still need the capital. And so many people say to me, well, there's so many different options out there for us to achieve this. I mean, we've got things like institutional finance, we've got bridging loans, we've got development finance, we've got cross-charge bridging, we've got mortgages, we've got a whole host of really fantastic leverage products. But also at the same time, so many people don't realize what is in their own network. Now, within your network now, you may not realize it, but let me assure you of this. There are people that have savings and money, and they're simply not happy with the return they're getting on their savings or money. But do you know what the problem is? They don't know what to do. They have no clue. They may be very successful in what they do in their particular field, their employment or their education field, immensely successful, but they do not know how to handle money. So, and I've had this so many times that people have come to me and I thought, wow, for example, I'm thinking of one doctor, a heart surgeon. He can take your heart apart and put it back together again. But his bank would ring him and say, do you realize that you're not getting a good return on your money that's in the bank at the moment? We've got a fantastic deal here. It's 5% per annum. Woohoo! Now, that's hardly going to set the world on fire. But to him, it was a better alternative than anything else that he knew. He didn't know about stock trading. He didn't know about cryptocurrency. He didn't know about Forex trading. He didn't know about the other investment vehicles that are available to us. He knows, like I say, he knows how to fix your heart, which is remarkable and so commendable. I take my hat off to him. It's an incredible skill that he's got, but he simply doesn't know what to do with money. So when we forged a collaboration, he was absolutely over the moon, because all of a sudden we're giving him 4-fold returns on what he was getting from the investment vehicles that he was currently using. And that's massive, isn't it? That's huge. That's absolutely incredible for him. So what I'm going to do is turn the tables. And when I say to you about your network and the people in there not being satisfied with what they've got at the moment and what returns they're getting, okay, don't think of it as you approaching them for them to do you a favor. It's a win-win situation, because in fact, you are doing each other a great service. They are funding your property business, which is wonderful, but at the same time, they're getting a much better return on their savings than they are where they are currently placed. Okay, so that's something that's really, really important to us, is knowing where you stand and not thinking like so many people do. When I'm approaching this person, and I'm just really almost like going cap in hand asking for money, and it doesn't work like that. They will be absolutely grateful to you for providing a much better return than what they are currently achieving. So private finance, what is private finance? Well, it's a joint venture which is mutually beneficial between two parties, with both parties gaining from the transaction. For example, somebody's got a lot of money and they haven't got much time, and you've got a lot of time and a fantastic business model. Put yourselves together and it creates the perfect business model. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at, is what private finance is. It's got to be mutually beneficial for both parties. Now, where do we start? Well, what we've got to start off is thinking about people within our network. Now, I want you to have a very careful think about everybody that you know. And that's not just your friends and your family. That's people that are around you. Maybe you're part of hobbies or clubs or sports, or you go to the pub, you go to the gym, you go to restaurants, whatever you tend to do, people you meet at the school gates. Just have a think about how many people, for example, are on your Facebook and your other social media platforms, and how many people are in your phone book on your smartphone. Just have a think about that for a second. It's quite something. The elevator pitch. What is an elevator pitch? Well, it's called as such because originally it was something that people used to do in big high-rise office blocks. So, for example, if you were working in a certain segment, a certain sector of business, and in your office block there was a business that you really wanted to approach. Now, we all know when you want to speak to the right person in that business, you cannot get hold of them. You cannot get past the front desk. You cannot get past the receptionist. If you phone them, if you turn up there, if you send emails, the key person within that business is not going to hear your message. However, if you're working in this big office block and you're lucky enough to step into the lift or the elevator, as it's known as, with this person, the door's closed, and you've got 15 to 20 seconds in a 6x6 room that they've really got to listen to what you're saying because they can't walk off. They're trapped with you for that 15 to 20 seconds. And that's why it became known as the elevator pitch. So what do we do with our elevator pitch? Well, our elevator pitch is basically a core of what our business model is. So we're pitching to these particular people. So what we're actually saying to them is, hello, this is my name and this is what I do. And so many people, they don't know how to conduct a basic elevator pitch. Now, you may be saying, well, actually, I don't work in an office block. I haven't been in a lift for years. Well, one on Saturday in a shopping centre or a hotel. That doesn't matter. The elevator pitch, as it stands, is your pitch to what I would say are potential investors. So how does that work? Well, let's just picture the scenario, okay? Now, you've just been thinking about all the people in your network, the people that you know, okay? Now, these people are intrigued and they're interested by you. That's why you talk at the school gates, in the gym, in the restaurant, in the pub, in your hobbyists. That's why you talk to each other and you share common ground and you build rapport and conversation with each other. They'll ask you, one of the best questions to ask somebody is, so what do you do for work? What's your occupation? What's your living? Okay. Now, people will tell you what they do. Some people have generic jobs. Some people have specialist jobs. Some people have interesting and sometimes dull and boring jobs. But we've got to make what we do sound really exciting. So when we're looking for investors, we've got to perfect our elevator pitch, our 15 to 20 second pitch towards these people. So what do we say to them? Well, when they ask us what we do for a living as property investors and developers, and we want investment, what do we say to these people? Well, I used to keep it very simple and very straightforward. And what I used to say to people is, hi, my name's Ben. I buy properties. I add value. I sell for a profit. And I also give investors a really good return on their savings. Just have a think about that. My name's Ben. I buy properties, I add value, I sell for a profit, and I also give investors a really good return on their savings. Has everybody got that down? That's all your elevator pitch needs to be. Now, most people are going to turn around to you and say, well done, pat on the back, sounds fantastic. The odd person is going to come to you and say, well, actually, that sounds really interesting. How do you do that? Where do you do it? Where do you find your properties? Who do you sell your properties? One of a million questions they can ask you on the spot. When they show interest towards your elevator pitch, that means that they are genuinely interested in you as a person and what you do. So yes, you are going to get a lot of rejection. You are going to get a lot of people patting you on the back. You are going to get some people that say, well, that sounds quite capitalist and it doesn't align with with our social view, you're going to get all sorts of responses to this. But you will get the odd response where people are like, wow, that sounds interesting. Now, people are interested in property investment and development. As a nation, we are in love with property investment and development, hence the ridiculous programs that we see on television, such as Homes Under the Hammer. That occupies a daytime slot where they have so many viewers, so many people watching, people buying properties from auction, adding value and selling for a profit. Now, why are people interested in that? Well, they just are. They're interested in the whole concept of making money out of property, but they don't know what to do. So your potential investor has got savings, but they simply don't know what to do. So there's loads of different things that you can do with them. You can agree terms with them. You can start a joint venture partnership with them. There's lots and lots of different ways that we can work with these people. Again, going back to slide number 1, for a mutually beneficial outcome. That's really important. You've got to have your mutually beneficial outcome. Okay. So your 20-second pitch is, my name is Ben. I buy properties. I add value. I sell for a profit. And I also help investors get a really good return on their savings. Bing. Now, you should be going around and giving every single person that you come into contact with your elevator pitch. How do you do it? Well, if they don't ask you what you do for a living, ask them. And guess what, guys? We're all polite, aren't we? So once they've told you what they do, guess what they'll say to you? So what do? The elevator pitch, this is what I do. I buy properties, I add value, I sell for a profit, and I help investors get a really good return on savings. Has everybody got that down now? Are we okay with that? That's our basic elevator pitch. This will, in layman's terms, sort the wheat from the chaff. So we've got to deal with the people that have shown interest. Now, lots of people say, well, the best thing to do is to have a conversation with them. And it is, but we need a presentation, okay? We don't want to stand outside the school gates or in the gym when we're dripping of sweat, talking and answering questions. It's not the right way to do things. When they show an interest in your pitch, ask them whether they fancy going for a coffee with you. Now, this is a sign of commitment, okay? If they are really interested in you as a person and the potential they can achieve with you, they will be willing to meet you for a coffee, a casual coffee. Go to an independent coffee house. Don't go to a well-known chain. Don't do that. Go to support your local business, guys. That's what I'm all in for. Suggest to them that they meet at a time that's mutually convenient for you both, and go to a coffee shop, a hotel, a restaurant, wherever you feel comfortable. It could be the cafeteria area in the gym. It could be anywhere. But go to a place where you know you can sit down with them and have a one-to-one conversation. And by the fact that they are willing to meet you, for example, on a Saturday or a Monday morning, whatever time is convenient for both of you, they are willing to travel and to meet you to discuss this opportunity. It means they are what? They're really interested. They're really interested in what you do and how they could become involved potentially in your business. So we've arranged a meeting. We've arranged to meet in an independent coffee shop, and we need to showcase our business model to these people. So what we need to do is we need to show them what we do, how we do it, what we need from them, and indeed what the benefit to them will actually be. So I always find the best way to do this is if you meet with these people, you showcase deals that you've previously done, deals you've been involved with, joint venture partnerships you've worked on before, or it could be anything. It could be deals that you've worked with your trainer or mentor on previously. So you showcase a deal and you say, for example, well, let's have a look at this property here. We purchased this property. It's in a town called Abertillery. We bought the property for X amount. We spent Y on the refurbishment and our profit was Z. They're like, that sounds interesting. Yeah, okay. How do you do it? Where do you do it? You answer the questions that they've got. This is the time that you can sit down with them one-to-one and you can hear them. You can hear their voice. You can hear their enthusiasm. And you answer the questions on what they want to know about your business and how you conduct your business. and how ultimately you make this profit. So you sit down with them and you answer all of their questions. You showcase the deal to them. You've shown them the core elements, the moving parts of your business model. And now is the time to move a stage further. So once they're satisfied with everything that you've told them, you've answered all of their questions, they may be slightly nervous about what could happen. You've allayed their fears and you've told them how you do business, how you conduct. They are now in a position to make a decision about investing with you. So the second part of the presentation is the pitch to them. And the pitch to them would be, let me show you this project here. Now, we found this project, it's in another town, and that's called Ebervale. And we are purchasing this property for X amount. We propose to spend Y, and our projected profit would be Z. They're like, wow, that sounds really good. We're cooking on gas now. We're getting on well. And we're both interested. We both share the same interest in what we're actually doing. Okay, well, let me just tell you something now. I need funding for this project. I'm going to do this project, but I need the funding for it. And they're looking at you now thinking, where's this going now? So if you know anyone that's got savings and is unhappy with the return they're getting on their savings, do me a favor, point them my way. Yeah. I'll repeat that because that is so powerful. Please, everyone, take this on board. We've showcased our first deal. We've shown them what we've done before. We've shown them we've got the experience, we've got the confidence, we've got the competence. We've now shown them a deal we need funding for. And we've just said to them, if you know anyone that's got savings and is unhappy with the return, point them my way. Now, what have we done there? We've not directly asked them for money, which we can't do. You'll ruin relationships. People will avoid you. If you say to somebody, well, this is what we've done here, this is the amount of money we've made, and we've got this project here, could you lend me the money for it? Whoa, hang on a second. That's too confrontational. You've compromised your relationship with this person. This person, if they don't want to, will avoid you forever. And they'll start telling other people, come go for a coffee with that person. They'll start asking you for money. What we've done, we've put it into the third party, which is really, really clever. So what we've said to them is, if you know anyone that's got savings and is unhappy with the return they're getting on their savings, point them my way. Now that gives them the perfect parachute out. If they don't want to invest in you, if they don't like you, they don't trust you, or they simply haven't got the money to invest, it gives them the perfect parachute. Because what they'll say to you is, okay, I will do. Thank you. That's great. We continue with the customary pleasantries and we end the meeting. We haven't onboarded an investor. And guys, I've got to tell you, it's like the old kissing the frogs before you find the prince. You will meet a lot of people that will just nod and go, okay, I will do. They're not investors for you. They've politely declined. They've told you they don't want to invest, or they haven't got the money to invest. But at the same time, you haven't put them on the spot. So remember this. If you have, or you know anyone that's got savings and is not happy with the return they're getting on their savings, do me a favor and point them my way. How subtle is that? The perfect get out for them. But what will happen? Well, what happens is you get the odd person that's going to turn around and go, well, actually, Ben, I've got savings and I'm really interested. Woohoo! What have we just done, guys? We've potentially onboarded our first investor. And it literally is that simple, that easy, and that straightforward. How does that sound so far? Because if any of you are thinking, I couldn't do that, I don't want to do it, I don't know anyone, you're lying to yourself, because you do. Now, how do I know that? Because and a lot of the material that I'm giving you now, guys, is not my own handiwork. It's stuff that people have taught me. I'm literally relaying the message. When you talk to so many people in business and you say, what's an original idea? What is an original idea? Are there any original ideas left in 2025? Have they all been obviously recycled before? And that's something that's very, very common. But I know that it works because I've done it. I have done exactly what I'm telling you guys now. And I am just Ben. I haven't got any qualifications. I left school, as I said to you, and I did Joe jobs. I don't have A levels, O levels. Guys, I haven't even got a spirit level. That's me, right? Yes, I've got a lot of experience. I've worked in a state agency, but I am in exactly the same position as you. There's nothing special about me. So how did I turn this pitch into an investment? For example, in 12 months, an investment of £1.5 million of private finance. I did exactly what I'm telling you now. And do you know what I want you to do? I want all of you to go out and just try it. But keep the persistence up. If you try it once and it doesn't work, that's nonsense. You've got to keep going and going and go. You've got to keep kissing those frogs, because one day you'll kiss the prince, and guess what? You will have the investment to either start your property business or to massively expand your existing property business. And that is so important. So we're okay with the presentation? Yeah? That is our presentation. We showcase a deal. We show what we've done. We show we've got the experience. We show we've walked the walk. We show what we've earned. And at the same time then, we put a deal in front of them and we put it into the third party. If you know anyone that's got savings and they're not happy with the return, do me a favor and point them my way. That is powerful. Now, once we've onboarded this investor and they've said, hey, guess what, Ben? I'm interested. I've got money. I want to invest with you. We've got to now secure the commitment of this investment, because it's all very well, and we all know this. People say things and they sometimes don't follow through. Have we all had that in life? People promise you, they commit to you, and they don't follow through. So many people may say to you, yes, Ben, I've got savings. I'm interested. I'm in. Show me the deal. I want to do the deal with you. We're in. This is it. We're in now. We're locked in. Great. Okay. Now, let me show you the deal in detail that we talked about earlier. It's this property. It's in Ebervale. It's a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. It's this, it's that, it's the other. This is what the costings will be. This is what the money will be. What I need you to do now is I need you to put money, not with me. I need you to put money on account with the solicitor this afternoon so we can start the legal work. That will be somewhere in the region of £2,000. Are you happy with that? Now, this is where we get to the crux of the onboarding. Because if they're going, yeah, I'll invest with you, I've got money, I want to do it, I'm locked in. You ask them to pay the money, not to you, to a solicitor, your solicitor who is handling the transaction. They will do one of two things. They'll say, okay, if you give me the details, I'll speak to the solicitor, or I'll just transfer the money, or give me the bank detail. You know the kind of responses which you'll get. They're committed. They're onboarded. They're with you. But you will get the people that go, well, now that you mention it, I'm just thinking that perhaps with the way that Brexit is, COVID is, the credit crunch, the Ukraine war, whatever excuse they want to use, they'll use that excuse and they'll start backing out very quickly. It's all very well to say to somebody, yes, I commit, I'm in, I've got the money, I want to do the deal. You've got to get solid commitment, and solid commitment is with somebody that will part with the money. Now, the money doesn't come to you, and this is really important. I'll come to this later on during the presentation. But you're not to take the money from them. They are going to lodge this money to start the transaction with a qualified and registered solicitor. Now, if they're willing to do that, you've onboarded them. They are in. If they start walking backwards, they start making excuses, they are not investors for you. And this happens so many times, and people can't work it out. Well, they promised me that they had the money and they wanted to do it, and now they won't come forward. This is what does happen, guys. And I'm really sorry to put a negative spin on this, but this is what does happen. So we've got to get over this very, very quickly, okay? Again, I used the phrase earlier, we've got to sort the wheat from the chaff, okay? We have really got to sort the wheat from the chaff. So we're asking them now for their commitment, not to give you the money, but to put the money on account with the solicitor to start the transaction. The people that walk backwards will walk backwards and they won't be investors for us. The people that are willing to move forward with us are now our investors. And that is how we onboard investors. Are we okay with that so far? All good. Great. Okay. So we need to talk now about the legal requirements. When you enter into any business partnership or any financial transaction with a third-party person, you need to make sure that not only they are protected, but also you are protected too. So agreements and contracts are one thing, and I've said that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to give you sample document suites here. Everything which you do with your joint venture partnership should be set up by a registered solicitor. Okay. I want you to be looked after, but I also want them to be looked after too. So we know that where we're all of our commitments and our obligations towards this joint venture deal. So we could look at this joint venture deal in that you will source the property, you will negotiate, you will cost the refurb, you will then see out the transaction, you will project manage the refurb, and you will assist in the sale of the property. In return, your joint venture partner will be financing this enterprise for you. So they'll be putting all the money in and you'll be doing all of the work. And that is how the joint venture works. At the end of the project, when you have your net profit, you will have 50-50. So they will retain 50% of the profit and you will be paid 50% of the profit yourselves. They're happy with that, and the basis of that, you're happy with that. That's the structure of this joint venture agreement, but it has been sanctioned and it has been overviewed and it has been documented by a solicitor. Okay, so don't leave anything to chance. Don't leave anything to your own. Well, we've Googled the documents, we've got them now, let's just use them. No, always get a solicitor involved, because sometimes, guys, if things do go wrong, you need to make sure that you've got a robust angle on this business. If they decide not to pay you at the end of it, if they decide to pull out halfway through, if you decide that you want to take money from them into your own personal account, which, believe me, some people have done unlawfully, then that's not going to happen if a solicitor is overseeing this transaction. They will look after both parties. It's their obligation, it's their career to look after both parties and make sure. So everything which you do with a third party in property, please always, and it's going to cost you, you are going to pay fees for this, but always make sure that it is done with a solicitor. Are we okay with that so far? Yeah, we got that. Great. Okay. JV partnerships or loans. Now, this is a very controversial subject. I much prefer to engage in what I call a joint venture partnership with my business partner. So, for example, like I said earlier, I could be doing all the donkey work and they could be putting all of the money in, documented through our agreement with a solicitor. So at the end of the project, we've agreed that we will split the net profit after all costs 50-50. And we're both happy with that. And that's what we're working towards, our common goal. So many people want to take what they would call, and I hear this, and please, there's a caveat here, I hear this and I see it on the social media platforms, that they want to do a fixed cost loan. Now, I'm not a solicitor, I'm not a legal expert, but what I know for one thing is, for example, if I was to come out and say to you, I will lend you money, X amount, 100,000, 200, 500,000 pounds, over a 12-month period, at an interest rate of X amount, I'm potentially breaking the law here. Yeah, I am breaking the law. Why? Because in no uncertain terms, I don't have any regulation or authorization or any license to lend money on a fixed cost return basis. I'm essentially becoming a loan shark. And that's how the law would actually see this. And likewise, people that put adverts out, and I see them all the time on our Southwest Property Investment Group, and I literally have to delete the posts on there and take them off because they're non-compliant, saying that they will offer a fixed return of X amount for an investment of Y amount. Now, that in itself, all of a sudden, you've got to turn around and say, well, does this person have the authority to be operating an investment fund? The chances are they don't. They don't have the correct authority, the correct permissions, compliance or regulation in place. So on the one side of it, if you're offering, you could become a loan shark. On the other side of it, you could be offering an illegal investment product. And we don't want that. If you start up a joint venture business partnership, that is perfectly legal and compliant. Plus, of course, please do not forget, and I keep stressing this, you must have solicitor representation when going into any JV business partnership. Okay. So as you can see, my preference is a business partnership because I want to keep my business compliant and legal. I do not want to break FCA, Financial Conduct Authority regulations under any circumstances. So that's why I must do what I do. Are we okay with that so far? So a lot of you are thinking, well, where do we go now? Well, I've just shown you. It literally is that simple. I've shown you how to onboard investors. I've shown you how to do it correctly and legally and compliantly. You just need to follow those steps that I've just labored. When we start with the elevator pitch, the presentation and the onboarding, those three things, you need to keep doing those three things. And I categorically guarantee you, if you keep doing those three things, you will find investors within your network for your property business. And don't doubt it, do it and keep doing it and keep doing it until you are like a parrot. You are literally reading off your elevator pitch to every single person you ever come into contact with. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, because one day, boom, your investor is going to land with you. Then you're going to follow all the steps that I've just said to keep it legal, to keep it compliant. The solicitor representation on there, okay? And that is what we want to do. Just to show you what these documents look like, I'm going to give every single person that emails me, so take a note of this, ben@symphony.wales. I want every single person to email me and say, Ben, please can we have the free gift, which is the document suite. Now, I will only give you this if you promise me that you do not use it. You use it with a solicitor, a bona fide solicitor. You must have legal representation. ben@symphony.wales. That is all you need to send your email to, and I will send you your free gift, which is the documentation which you will need on your journey when onboarding private finance. So as you can see, it's really, really simple. I mean, if we just look back now over what we've just spoken about, we start with the elevator pitch. 20 seconds to grab the attention of every single person that you come into contact with. And that will work so well for you. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. My name's Ben. I buy property, I add value, I sell for a profit, and I help investors get a really good return on their savings. Keep repeating that to every single person. Then you will get the interest. If they're willing to come and meet you on a separate day, separate time, a time that's convenient for them, of course, because we've all got busy lives, they are showing you commitment. So you need to pitch to them. You need to show them what you can do for them. Don't ever think about a deal as in everything on your terms. So you want this, you want this, you want this, and it has to happen like this. No, think about what you can offer your potential investor. Think about that really, really carefully and make your pitch to them. Now, once you've made your pitch to them, you need to put it into the third party when you're asking that all vital question to them. So if you know anyone that's got savings and is unhappy with the return they're getting, please point them my way. Those words are so powerful. Absolutely golden. When you get the responses, well, okay, I will do. Yeah, of course I will, Ben. That sounds great. Yeah, we will do. Brilliant. Let's move on. Yeah. When you get a person, actually, Ben, I've got savings. I'm interested. Let's talk. Fantastic. Now, what we need to do then is obviously we need to onboard them. So we need to get them to show us commitment. It's all very well them saying yes, but to actually transfer money is an entirely different thing. If they are with you, they're invested in you, and they are going to invest with you, they will have no problem transferring money to a solicitor, a nominal amount of money to a solicitor to begin the legal process to start the transaction. If there's any objection at this point, if there's any backtracking, there's any walking back, they are not the people for you. Cut them off. There's no point wasting your time. People will either invest or they won't invest. Legality. We've got to keep this legal and compliant. We've been doing this for donkey's years, and we know that everything within my business is perfectly legal, perfectly compliant, perfectly up to date. Make sure you always utilize a good solicitor who will look after not only their interests, but also look after your interests. Both parties need to be looked after, okay? And then finally, when we look at the loan or the business partnership, it's blatant to see that we could get ourselves, if we pitch it in the wrong kind of way, into a lot of trouble that we didn't really want. We don't want to do things illegally. We want to run our business in a compliant and legal fashion. That's what will give us longevity in the property industry. Our free gift, I've told you, I will be sending you. And I want to talk something now. A lot of people ask me about, well, Ben, what do you do? Well, most of what I do is a one-to-one mentorship. And this is really, really important. I've tried doing classroom scenarios. I've tried doing group mentorships. I've tried doing group training. Yes, it works to a certain element, but to me, it doesn't work. And it's got to work for me and it's got to work for you. So why do I do one-to-one mentorship? Well, it's as simple as this. Everybody's different. You're all in a different place today, and you want to end up in a different place. So how does a one-size-fits-all work? It doesn't. So what I do is I have a personalized one-to-one property mentorship that consists of 13 core modules. Now, these modules cover every single strategy. Some you will have heard of, some you will not have heard of, that you can put into your toolbox and use. So what you're getting is you're getting one-to-one tuition, be it via Zoom, be it one-to-one personally, be it on site. Everything that we do in each different module is different, but you have me. So if you say to me, Ben, I didn't really understand that last module, I didn't really understand that last principle, that strategy, we will go over and over and over and over it until you are fully happy with everything that you've learned. So you'll take all these strategies on board. You've got all the resources. Now, these resources are documents, they are videos. Everybody gets access to a full training course online, and that's for life. So when you come on the one-to-one mentorship, you get me one-to-one. We go through the 13 modules. By the time we've done the 13 modules, everything which you need to know in property is there for you. And you may turn around to me and say, well, Ben, the thing is, you're teaching us how to ride a bike, how to drive a car, how to fly a plane and sail a boat. We just want to ride a bike. That's great. But think about the future. When we do these 13 modules, you'll have everything in your toolkit for every strategy. So, for example, if you're happy riding a bike now, but in years to come, you want to sail a boat or fly a plane or drive a car, guess what? You've had all the tuition. You've got all the knowledge. You've got the videos to back this up. You've got the resources to back it up. You've got everything in your toolkit that you need for every single strategy in property. And we have gone through it personally, you and I, with no one else present, one-to-one. So you are completely coherent with everything that we're doing. Okay? And you've got all the resources with you. There's unlimited support. We have a WhatsApp that, if you do want to message me at midnight, I may not respond till the following day, but you have consistent and ongoing WhatsApp. And because it's one-to-one, if you're busy, if you've got a business that fluctuates or a work shift pattern that's different, we may do a Monday evening at 7 p.m. We may do a Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. We may do a Saturday afternoon. I work 6 days a week. So that gives you all the time you need to book your sessions in when is convenient around your family life, your business, your work life, and other commitments which you will have. So you never miss anything. One week you may say to me, listen, Ben, we're going away for a few days and the business is busy and stuff. Can we pause and just resume next week? And then you may say to me the following week, I'm back now. I've not got a lot on. Can we do 2 sessions? Of course you can. It's all there for you. You will never miss anything because it's all completely one-to-one. We go through every single strategy in detail and we walk the walk together. Now, how do we walk the walk together? Well, we actually do your first property project together within the training. So you've got all of the theoretical, all of the resources, all of the videos, everything for life, all the knowledge, all the expertise, plus we also do your first project together side by side. So you doing your first project, it may be a flip. You and I go out one-to-one together to do this project side by side. So not only have you got all the training, the resources, the information, everything, you've still got it all. You've also done a project. You've walked the walk yourself with me. So you're not going to make any mistakes, and you're also going to benefit massively from what you've just done. So what you do after that, you just go on and repeat the process. But I still want to remain in contact with you. I still want to remain in touch. You may recall at the beginning of this, I said that I was with one of my mentees from a few years ago. I want to see how he's doing. My buzz from this, when I leave this planet, I was thinking about this the other day, this is quite interesting. My mother-in-law was talking about ancestry, and she's been looking back at a family tree. And I don't know whether this is true for any of you guys, but if you asked me what my great-grandparents' names were and what their occupation and where they lived, I wouldn't be able to tell you. They were probably on this planet for not as long as we'll be, but they were probably on this planet, let's say they were on this planet for 60, 70 years. It's a long time. I don't know anything about them. They've been forgotten about. For me, what really, really matters now at my age, at the grand old age of 49, is helping people. Because I know that I'll leave a lasting legacy on this planet. That you will come to me with no experience, regardless of background, regardless of education, regardless of work experience or financial circumstances. You'll come to me and I will start you on your journey in property, as I have done for more than 55 people. And you will pass those skills, that education, that knowledge on to your children. And so that, to me, that gives me a real buzz. And that is the real reason why I do this. So as far as what we get, my mentees get access to my estate agents, my auctioneers, and off-market deals. They get access to my entire network. Now, my network of people, if you say, Ben, I need a solicitor, I need a quantity surveyor, I need a structural engineer, I need an architect, I've got everything which you need in your property journey. Accountants, anything, any professional service or trade you need here in South Wales, I have it for you. And I will share these with you. And don't forget, these are tried, tested, and trusted people. So it's not like you're picking somebody out of the yellow pages, or show my age, I know yellow pages, someone out of Google and thinking, oh, they seem all right, their reviews seem okay. I'm giving you people. But I can tell you, we've worked with this guy for 10 years. We've worked with this lady for 15 years. I'm giving you people. You get my network, which has taken me donkey's years to build up. You get priority access to our finance brokers, expert finance brokers who understand not only residential mortgages, that's by the by. We want finance brokers that understand commercial mortgages, bridging finance, cross-charge bridging, things that are going to be relevant to your property journey. You get access to all of them. You get below trade price discounts on my trade supplies. Did you know that I've achieved a discount with Magnet Kitchens on an order of over 80% off? And that's off the trade price, not the retail. You've got the retail up here, then you've got the trade, and I get 80% off the trade. And I said to somebody the other day, I said, look at this kitchen. How much do you think it cost? They said 10 grand. I said, no, it cost £2,400. What? Yes. That's what it cost us. So my training fees that I charge, because, you know, I don't do this from the benefit of my heart. I've got to live. I've got to feed my kids, albeit they're all in their 20s now. Kids cost more in their 20s than they do when they're young, let me tell you. I currently run an all-inclusive holiday park here where my 20-year-old sons, 4 of them, can come and go as they please. They can take whatever they want. They can eat whatever they want. They can do whatever. That's me digressing about my life. But that's what we do here. You get below trade price discounts on your trade supplies. Okay. And you also get, like I was saying earlier, lifetime access to my property investment course, which is online. So anything which you want to review, you can either ring me, WhatsApp me, and we'll have another Zoom meeting. We'll have another face-to-face. We'll have a coffee together. You can buy me lunch. I love lunch. You can guess that, can't you? We'll go through it. Or you've got lifetime access to the videos, the resources, all the information list, everything which you need for your property journey, and it's all there. So if you guys are interested, have a look at what people have done, people that have been around me, people that I've taken, people that have never worked in property before, regardless of background. Have a look at what they've done. I'm passionate about this, as you can tell. I'm passionate because I want to help people. I don't want people to make mistakes because, you know, if we, for example, choose the wrong sandwich bar for lunch tomorrow, it's fine. We throw the sandwiches in the bin and we go and get sandwiches from elsewhere. Yes, it's annoying. It's cost us another 10 or whatever. With property, you can't afford to make mistakes because mistakes are very costly. So come with me and I'll tell you about my mistakes and they'll stop you from making your mistakes. But if you follow the system, like more than 55 people who I've mentored personally, one-to-one have done, you will join them and go and start and succeed in your individual property business or journey. So who's interested in one-to-one mentorship? Because we've had dozens of success stories. Okay. Now, it's not to say that property is a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not to say that it's an easy journey, but I will be there at every single step of that journey with you, helping you, motivating you, pushing you through, stopping you from making mistakes, and making you successful. My success comes from you being successful. So what's the next step? I want to offer every single person on here for giving up the time that you've been with me tonight. You've given up an hour to be with me. I want to give you a 30-minute roadmap call. Okay. Even if you're watching this on video and you've got to this point, the free gift is great because it's a document suite. But this is where the real value comes in. I'm going to give you a free 30-minute roadmap call. So you can tell me about yourself, about your life. I'll ask you loads of questions. You'll think, what a nosy bastard this guy is, pardon my French. But it's all because I want to find out about who you are, where you are, and where you want to be. Because then I can make the pathway for you. Okay? So, who wants a 30-minute call? There's no obligation. You don't have to pay for it. I'm not going to ask you for money or for any other commitments. You can end the 30-minute call. You can say, thank you very much, Ben. We're not interested. We don't really like you anyway. We were just bored, sad, and lonely. That's why we wanted to talk to you. Goodbye. And I will be perfectly happy with that. It's never happened before, but there's always going to be a first time in there. Hey. This 30-minute roadmap call is really, really going to help you on your property journey. Now, you're here tonight because you want to either expand your property business or start yourself in property. And I can help you do that. So all you've got to do is pick up the phone, give me a 30-minute call. Let me know when you're available. Now, you've all got my email address. It's ben@symphony.wales. Okay. So I want you to all look at my email address. Send me an email. Say to me, Ben, please can we have our free gift? We really want to see the document suite. But above all, what we want to do is we want to talk to you for 30 minutes. Okay. I've got 6 dogs, by the way. So if you don't want to talk about property, we can talk about dogs. I love dogs. Yeah, the kids have all grown up now, and I prefer the dogs to the kids. Don't tell them. But I can talk to you about anything, but I love to talk to you about yourself, your family, your business, your employment, your life, and what you want to do in property. That's what I want to talk to you about. Okay? So please, I'm very approachable. And perhaps I'm sad, bored, and lonely. I might need someone to talk to. So please, book your 30-minute roadmap call in. Do we have any questions at this point in time? Nothing specific, because we will obviously discuss the roadmap call when we get there, and because it's pointless me talking about individual circumstances with you right now, because of course everyone's different. And like I said earlier, we're all different, we're in a different place, and we want to end up in a different place. Okay, if there's any generic questions at the moment, please ask away. But you do all have that 30-minute call where my attention will be solely upon you and helping you get to where you need to be. How does that sound? Good. Well, guys, it's been an hour. I don't want to take up any more of your precious time. You're all wonderful people, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us. I do want to speak to all of you on your 30-minute roadmap call, even if we end up, and I may say to you, there's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing you can do for it's not going to happen. But if we end up in that scenario, at least we've tried. But if you want to move on with your property journey, if you want a career, if you want the lifestyle that property can offer you, then it just takes that call. So please reach out. I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Thank you very much.